Hello students, we are in a continuation with the chapter Elements, Compounds and Mixture. In my previous class, I discussed about elements and compounds and little bit about mixture. Next, difference between compound and mixture. We know compound. In compound, the elements or the atoms are mixed in a fixed ratio, whereas in mixture, there is no fixed ratio. That means the elements, compounds are mixed in a different proportion. Next one, compounds are always homogeneous in nature, whereas mixture is always heterogeneous in nature. Next, in case of compound, the original properties of the elements are not remaining. After the formation of compound, the original properties of the elements are not remaining, whereas in case of mixture, the original properties of the compounds or elements after the formation of mixture are remaining. Here we can say Fe plus A forming FeS. That means iron combines with sulfur in a combination reaction forming iron sulfide. This is a compound where the ratio of iron and sulfur is 1:1. But if we have mixture of iron and sulfur, then it is a heterogeneous mixture. Next one, solution. Solution is a mixture. Types of solutions, we have three types of solution: true solution, colloidal solution and suspension. In case of true solution, the particle size is very small. The particle size is very small in case of true solution, whereas in colloidal solution, the size is much bigger than the true solution. But in case of suspension, the particles are larger than colloidal solution and true solution. We cannot see the particles, the smaller particles in true solution. It can be seen by the use of ultramicroscope, whereas in colloidal solution and suspension, we can see the particles. In case of true solution, that particles can move through a filter paper or a semi-permeable membrane, but in case of colloidal and suspension, the particles cannot move through filter paper and the semi-permeable membrane. In case of suspension, the particles are as bigger that they can settle down. After some time, they can settle down. Now, there are two characteristics, special characteristics shown by these colloidal solutions. They are Brownian movement and Tyndall effect. What are they? First one, Brownian movement. In colloidal solution, the particles are in a random motion. They are always moving. And they are always bombarding, colliding with each other. So what will happen? They will have a definite speed and they will move with this speed. This motion is known as, or this movement is known as, Brownian movement. And what is Tyndall effect? Tyndall effect means where a beam of light falls on the particles of the colloidal solution. What will happen? The beam of light will be scattered. There is a scattering of light by the particles of the colloidal solution. This effect is known as Tyndall effect. In case of solution, we know solute dissolves in solvent to form true solution. And in case of colloidal solution, dispersed phase, this is similar to the solute, dissolved in dispersed medium to form a colloidal solution. So we can see here emulsion. Emulsion is the oil water mixture where oil is having the smaller quantity and water is a larger one. When oil dissolve in water, it is known as emulsion. Any solid dissolve in water, it is known as sol. Any liquid dissolve in gases, they are known as aerosol. Now, separation of mixtures depending on their types. According to the types of mixture, we can identify, we can choose the separation method. First one, mixture of two solids. Mixture of two solids like NaCl plus sand, we will go for the method solvent separation method. Suppose we have carbon and sulfur, we will go for the solvent separation method. Now, what is solvent separation method? NaCl dissolve in water. We know table salt, normal table salt dissolves in water, whereas sand cannot. So what will happen? If we will have a mixture of NaCl and sand, they will dissolve. Only NaCl will dissolve, sand will not. So by the process of filtration, we can separate the mixture of NaCl and sand. Next one, carbon and sulfur. We will mix this mixture in CH2, carbon disulfide. What will happen? Sulfur is dissolved in CH2. So after the filtration, carbon will be the residue and CH2 will sulfur will dissolve in CH2 to form the filtrate. If we will have a mixture of KNO3 and KClO3, both can be crystallized out. So for that we will go for the method fractional crystallization. If we will have a mixture of any sublimable substance and another one which is not sublimable, we will go for the method sublimation. What will happen? Here we have chosen NH4Cl and NaCl. NH4Cl can sublimize. So what will happen? NH4Cl will be sublimized and NaCl will remain. If in our mixture we have iron, and we know that iron is attracted by magnet, so what will happen? Iron will be attracted by magnet and copper will remain. That's why we will go for the method magnetic separation. Now if we will have a mixture of a solid and a liquid, solid and liquid, where the solid can dissolve in liquid, is a miscible solid. What will happen? So here I have taken the example of sodium chloride and water. We will go for the method evaporation. We will boil it, H2O will be evaporated out and NaCl will remain. Now water containing dissolved impurities, for that we will go for the process distillation. Next, for the immiscible solid in liquids like sand, sand is not cannot dissolve in water. What will happen? So if we will go for the method sedimentation and decantation, sand will remain, will be sedimented down, and by the process of decantation we can separate water. If we will have the mixture of chalk and water, we will go for the filtration process. Next, two liquids for homogeneous, that means two miscible liquids like H2O plus milk, H2O plus alcohol, we will go for the process fractional distillation, because fractional distillation is based on the properties of boiling point, whose boiling point will be low. It will be first distillated out, then the next one. If in our mixture we will have two different, means they are not miscible, they are immiscible to each other, two different liquids like water plus oil, water plus carbon tetrachloride, we will go for the method separating funnel. Next one, liquid and gas. If we will have a mixture of ammonia and water, we will boil it. Ammonia will first boil out, then water will remain. Two gases, in case of two gases, the method will be liquefaction and diffusion. Other two techniques are there for other complex mixture. One is paper chromatography and another is centrifugation. Paper chromatography we will use to separate the colored ink from a definite ink. Suppose we are having a mixture of ink, but we cannot identify the individual ink, then we will go for the process paper chromatography. Now cream from milk, it is done with the process centrifugation. Now I would like to discuss all these methods individually and elaborately. Here for the use of solvent, that is filtration, this is a funnel. The residue will remain here and the filtrate, the dissolved one, will go through this funnel, and this is known as filtrate. Next one, for evaporation. If I said that a mixture is there, the mixture of NaCl and water, what will happen? We will heat it. Water is evaporating out. Here the molecules of NaCl will remain. Next one, fractional crystallization. Here we have taken, in a beaker we have taken a mixture of KClO3 and KNO3, potassium chloride and potassium nitrate. First potassium chloride will be crystallized out. Here you can see these are the crystals of potassium chloride. We will separate it by the use of this funnel. Again we will boil it, we will heat it, and after cooling we will get the KNO3 crystals here. By this process we can separate two solids which can be crystallized out. Next one, sublimation. Here I have taken NH4Cl and NaCl. NH4Cl is a sublimable substance. If you heat it, what will happen? It will sublimize and it will stick in this funnel. Okay, after that what will happen? NaCl will remain here in the evaporating dish, and in the funnel we will get NH4Cl. Next one is magnetic separation. Here it is a mixture of iron and sulfur. These are the sulfur and these are the iron. So if we hold one magnet over here, iron will be attracted by this magnet. So after some time we will see these all iron particles are attracted by this magnet and are separating out, and these sulfurs are remaining over here. Thus we can separate the mixture of iron and sulfur. Next one, separating funnel. Separating funnel means this is a picture of separating funnel. So this funnel, this apparatus we will use for the mixture of two immiscible liquids. Here I have taken water and CCl4. Water is a inorganic substance and CCl4 is a organic substance. They will not match, will not dissolve. So what will happen? Here there will be two layers. One will be water layer, one will be CCl4 layer. So more denser layer will be the down and lighter layer will be the up. Here you can see a stopcock. When we will open it, what will happen? The denser lower layer will come out, will fall down over here in this container. We will collect it, and water layer will remain in this separating funnel. Thus we can separate two immiscible liquids. In case of oil and water, oil is less denser than water, so oil will be the upper level and water will be the lower level. If we open this stopcock, the water level will come down and the oil level will remain in the separating funnel. Next one, fractional distillation. Fractional distillation, this method we will use for to separate two miscible liquids, and the properties are the different boiling point. Okay, depending on the property, different boiling points. Here we have taken a mixture of benzene and toluene. Benzene is having lower boiling point than toluene. So if we will heat it, what will happen? First, benzene will evaporate it out and will come through this tube. Here this is a condenser where there is a flow of water which will condense the water, the benzene vapor to liquid benzene, and we will collect benzene over here and toluene will remain in this flask. By this process we can separate benzene and toluene to miscible liquids. Next one, here paper chromatography. We will spot a ink over here. This ink is a mixture of different color. So after that we will put this paper inside a chamber. Inside a chamber we will take solvent. So there will be ascending of the points like this, and but these are the different colors. By this we can separate different colors from one ink spot. These were all about the separation method. Next day I will discuss about the exercise questions. We will solve the exercise questions. Thank you.